Today, we're going to walk through one of the most consequential nights in American history. We're going to break it down moment by moment, almost like a storyboard for a film. And our setting? Well, it's the infamous Ford's Theater.
Look at this. It really sets the stage, doesn't it? This was supposed to be a night of celebration, of relief, but instead, it became a national tragedy. So, the big question is, how? How did an evening that started with so much hope end in absolute horror?
To really get what happened, you have to feel the atmosphere. So let's go there. We're in Washington, D.C. It's April of 1865. The Civil War, this brutal conflict that literally ripped the nation in two, has finally ended.
Just try to imagine the scene. The capital city is absolutely electric. People are celebrating in the streets, but, and this is the key, that peace was fragile. It was brand new. It was uncertain. You could just feel the tension still simmering right below the surface of all those celebrations.
And this is where two very different paths are about to collide. On one side, you have President Abraham Lincoln. The man is just exhausted by 4 years of war, and all he wants is a simple moment of levity. Then, on the other side, you have John Wilkes Booth. He's not celebrating. No, he's fueled by his own ideology, and he's carefully, meticulously preparing for what's next. A killer, just lurking in the shadows.
So let's follow the president's path for a minute. For Lincoln, this night wasn't about politics or presidential duty. It was personal. He was just trying to find a tiny piece of normal life again.
You know, that phrase, exhausted president, it really gets to the heart of it, doesn't it? This wasn't some official state function, it was just his choice. He wanted to go see a play, maybe have a laugh, and for a few hours, just escape the incredible weight he'd been carrying on his shoulders.
And that's really the human story here, isn't it? It was supposed to be just an ordinary evening, a simple escape. And it's that search for something so normal, so simple, that makes what's about to happen so incredibly tragic.
Okay, so let's shift our focus. Because while Lincoln was looking for a bit of peace, another man was putting the final touches on a plan of pure violence. The whole tone of this evening is about to change dramatically.
John Wilkes Booth is described as a calculating assassin, and that's exactly right. This was not some impulsive, spur-of-the-moment thing. While the entire city was cheering for peace, he was methodically and very meticulously preparing to commit murder.
I mean, his process was so methodical, you can see it right here. Every single step was planned out. The attack itself, his escape route, even stalking his target. He was moving through the city's shadows, completely invisible to all the crowds out there celebrating.
And now, the countdown begins. This is it. This is where everything converges. You have two completely opposite intentions, two totally separate paths, both leading to the exact same place at the exact same time, Ford's Theater.
This timeline just gives you chills. At 8 o'clock, the Lincolns arrive and the crowd is cheerful. They're happy to see them. But just an hour and a half later, at 9:30, Booth is making his final approach. By 10:10, he's slipped into the presidential box, completely unseen. And then, just 5 minutes later, history is changed forever.
So just picture it. Outside, the city is celebrating, completely oblivious.
Inside, the president has found that moment of levity. He's lost in the performance.
And just a few feet away, a killer waits in the wings, literally holding the fate of the nation in his hand.
And then, it happens. The shot that turns a simple evening out into a pivotal, world-changing tragedy.
April 14th, 1865. That's the date, that's the moment. Those two paths finally collided. A night of celebration turned into a moment of deep national trauma.
And that's all it took. A single shot. One pull of a trigger, and an ordinary night at the theater becomes one of the most infamous moments in all of history. That fragile peace was shattered.
And that really leaves us with one last thing to think about. The events of that night, well, they cast a very long shadow, not just over Ford's Theater, but over the entire nation. It makes you wonder, doesn't it? When a single, violent moment shatters a nation's peace, does a shadow like that ever truly fade?